So as we know, Joe Rogan came out a few days ago and said that he's heard a rumor that Jon Jones was probably going to get paid somewhere in the region of $30 million if the fight with Tom Aspinall was to go ahead this summer, okay? And he came out and said, no, I was wrong. I was incorrect. Dana White reached out to him and said, no, that's probably not happening. Talking about the $30 million, of course.
Speaking of which, I have to correct something. We were talking about Jon Jones. I had heard a rumor that Jon Jones wanted $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. And I did hear that rumor. And I did hear that the UFC said yes, but it is not true. So Dana contacted me, said that rumor's
number one bullshit.
So I felt obligated to tell everybody that was a fake rumor. I don't even remember who, because we did that podcast, unfortunately, we did that podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember who told me that.
If you saw my video, I apologize for wasting your time. I do. But I was happy for Jon. I really was. And I'll tell you what, he might not get 30 million, but he's probably going to get something like 15, 20, 25. He's going to get a ridiculous amount of money. Jon Jones wants FU money. And as I say, I still think he's going to get it. So Rogan came out and said, hey, I ain't the place where you get your news from. And to be fair to Joe Rogan, he said that for a very long time. So let's talk about that, because Tom Aspinall should fight Jon Jones at some point this year. And it will be an absolute travesty if that doesn't go ahead, okay? Now, a lot of people think that Jones is ducking him because he doesn't want to fight him, right? Now, one person that says otherwise is the long-time heavyweight champion, a two-time heavyweight champion, one of the greatest to ever do it. And that man's name is Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez did an interview recently where he was talking about Aspinall. And he said, look, listen, I've watched this guy and I kind of see a pattern to his striking. And when we're talking about Jon Jones, we're talking about somebody that comes up with the best game plans in all of the sport. He said that Jones does his homework. He's a master at this. He analyzes things. He studies you over and over. And he thinks for that reason that he's going to go out there and defeat Tom Aspinall. Now, Cain Velasquez is an absolute legend of the sport. Of course, became the champion when he took out Brock Lesnar, put an absolute vicious beat down on him to become the champion. He went down in Anaheim, California. And of course, he fought in Anaheim, California again. I just moved to American.
Say that again.
If TJ sits
in an
out,
American accent, say that again.
Hey, Dana. So
do you need me to translate for you, Mike?
A rematch, okay, and TJ sits out on the sidelines, okay, does he get the title fight that he wanted for so long, bro? November 2011, it was the first UFC event on Fox. Not Fox Sports, Big Fox, on every single television set in all of America. A massively viewed fight. Cain Velasquez, the new champion, loses the belt in his very first title defense. Of course, gets clipped by Junior Dos Santos 1 minute into the first round. Now, he did go on to avenge that loss. He beat Antonio Bigfoot Silva in the first round. Then he gets a rematch against Junior Dos Santos, beat him pillar to post, left, right, and center, made it look easy. It was a vicious beatdown, takes back the title, and then went on to defend it a couple of times as well. The man is an absolute legend of the sport, and Cain Velasquez, I wish you all the best. But let's talk about what he said, okay? He talked about patterns, and of course, when he's talking about patterns with Tom Aspinall, he's talking about his striking, of course. He's probably talking about the 1-2. That's what Tom Aspinall uses a lot of the time. The right hand is what clipped Sergey Pavlovich. The right hand is what clipped Curtis Blades, right? But then the follow-up shots he gets on top is very quick, and he takes them out of there. 1-2. It's a basic shot. We can all do it. I'll do one right now. Jab, right hand. We can all do it. There's nothing overly sophisticated about it, but it's the way that you throw it. And it's the way that you set it up with your movements, with your head movement, with little jerks and all the rest of it. And when you do decide to throw, it's how you execute it. The speed and the power with which Tom Aspinall throws that shot is unlike anybody else in the heavyweight division. The last time we saw that kind of power in the heavyweight division, yeah, we had Sergey Pavlovich, we've had Francis Ngannou, and of course, Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez had beautiful knockout power. I'll never forget when he took on Minotauro Nogueira. UFC 110, 2010, Sydney, Australia. Took him out in the first round. Of course, Nogueira, absolute legend from the Pride days. Beautiful three-punch combination in the pocket, sat him down. I just returned back to my dressing room. I'd just been robbed by the judges against Vanderlei Silva, and I was watching in disbelief that a heavyweight fighter could throw so quick and so powerfully. Cain Velasquez is a legend, and I respect his opinion. So we're talking about patterns, okay? Of course, there's a pattern there, but as I said, it all depends how you throw it. Now think about this. I fought Dan Henderson 2 times. And of course, the first time he clipped me with a right hand, a legendary right hand that he knocked me out with, that he built his entire career on. Don't sit there and think that going into the rematch at UFC 204 in Manchester, that the entire game plan wasn't to avoid the right hand. Of course it was. And he cracked me with it in the first round. He cracked me with it in the second round because he's built a career on landing that shot. And like my old boxing coach used to say, you don't go in the rain without getting wet. You don't step into a cage without taking a couple of shots. You don't go up against somebody that's built a career by throwing that right hand and don't expect to feel it here and there, okay? So yes, there might be a pattern and there might be a rhythm and it might be the 1-2 and it might be a little bit predictable and it might not be the flashiest thing. It might not be a spinning kick to the liver. It might not be an oblique kick or a spinning tornado or a spinning back fist or a Shara bullet 2 shot, right? But it's still effective and it's one of the oldest tricks in the book and it's the way that you deliver that shot what really matters. And of course, Tom isn't a one-trick pony. Remember, this man can shoot a blast double with the best of them, okay? His wrestling is absolutely top-notch. He's done jiu-jitsu since he was a little kid. He used to teach grown men when he was 16 years old, and he's taken hardly any damage. And the man's a smart guy. I always say, the better thinker you are in this game, the better fighter you will be. Tom's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He's definitely going to formulate a game plan. But so is Jon Jones. That is where Jon Jones is just different. He finds a way to win each and every single time. So I don't think that Jon Jones is ducking. And of course, we know now that he's probably not going to get paid $30 million. It's still going to be the biggest heavyweight fight that we've ever seen. I still think that the fight will go down this year, probably International Fight Week. I still think that Jon Jones is going to get FU money. And I still think that more than likely, Tom Aspinall will dethrone him and become the undisputed champion of the world. I tell you what, if he doesn't, I will be the first person to say, well done to Jon Jones. Because if he could go out and do that, unify the belts, shut everybody up and take out somebody like Tom Aspinall, that's one of the best finishes that the sport has ever seen. Not just in this generation, one of the best finishes that the sport has ever seen. If he can do that, well then, fair play. I will tip my hat. I will be the first person to say he truly is the greatest of all time, the pound for pound number one. And I don't care what anyone says. Jon Jones is the pound for pound number one. Yes, there's a case to be made for Islam Makhachev. There's also a case to be made for Alex Pereira. But the person that's been around for donkey years is still doing it at the highest level. He's a 2-weight division champion. That man's called Johnny Bones Jones. So, Rogan said, no 30 million. Velasquez says, Tom Aspinall's predictable. And I say, thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. Members videos dropping each and every single day. So do yourself a favor and make yourself a member. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you soon.